Hi and welcome back to TechItOut. While setting up the new second channel, one of the things I had to think about and consider was what type of equipment I was going to use. Now the channel is about technical things to do with motorcycling, but also it's a little bit of vlogging. So I had to consider one thing to start off with is what type of camera I was going to use. Now there are many cameras out there that motorcycle vloggers actually use, and they are really expensive. You've got the GoPro Heroes, which are several £100s or dollars, whatever your nation's currency is. You've got the Sonys, and you've got the Ghost range, and they're all really expensive. And if you're on a really tight budget, they are out of the question. The problem with action cams, which are cheaper, is usually that they lack one or two various features. And the main one that they lack is the ability to have an external audio source, an external microphone plugged in. Now there are a few on the market that do this at a reasonable price. One of them is a Crosstour, which you see my Crosstour 9000 video. The Crosstour 8500 has an external mic input, and the Dragon, I think it's the Dragon Touch, has an external microphone input as well. And the other one was this one, the Boifun, B-O-I-F-U-N. Now, if you know anything about Welsh, we tend to call each other Boyo now and again, so Boifun is quite appropriate, I think. So this is one I landed on eventually, not because it was any cheaper than the others, if you paid full price, but because I found this one on eBay for half the price that it's actually on Amazon for at the time of buying. Since then, a few of the cameras have come down in price, and I know the Crosstour is on sale at the moment, so if you're really quick you might catch it, but that's at the time of filming. So what I'm going to do is do a quick unboxing of this. We'll have a look at it, and then I'm going to show you one little thing that I have to do to mod it to make it usable as a vlogging camera for motorcycle vlogging. So let's get this unboxed. Now the packaging is very similar on all these cameras. They all seem to come in the same type of box and the same type of accessories. First of all though, some of them don't actually come with this. This is a remote control for starting and stopping the recording, which is very handy because you can either strap it on your wrist and use that as the start stop when you want to cut out bits or whatever, or you can actually strap it to the handlebars of the motorbike and use it there. So that's very useful. Again, they always come, it seems, with this waterproof case and the obligatory multilingual user manual. Anyway, off to the drawer of obscurity with that. There it goes. So the case, yes, and of course this has got a fast release mount on it as well. So we'll just get the camera out. Now, a bit of a full disclosure on this, in that I didn't actually buy it brand new because I managed to find it half price on eBay. So I have cheated a little and put the battery in it already, or one of the batteries. It actually comes with two 1350 milliamp hour batteries, just to make sure it was working, so I didn't look too much of a fool if I tried to switch it on and it wasn't working. So it is working, so we press and hold the on off button. And there it goes, powering on. And as ever, the mode button and the power on off button are the same button. So you press that to switch through the modes. Just tell me there's no... It tells me the password first of all. Okay, so it's got a password. Okay, that no TF card inserted. Press the mode button again. You're pressing it. Doesn't want to work without the TF card inside. Usually you can scroll through the modes, but this one's not allowing you to. So we need to put a TF card in. I'll just grab a card. of Zevon. My little knife is trying to escape. Wouldn't be a video of mine if it wasn't for that. In goes the card, and now hopefully initializing the card. It doesn't seem to want to go through the menus, so let's power it off again. If it doesn't work, try switching it off and switching it back on. Now it's going through the menus, so there we go. So that's the setup menu. So you can change the video resolution, the anti-shake looping video, and it goes on and on through the various modes, time lapse and so on. Then the photo menu, then the general menu, then the system menu where you can format the card, put it into cardboard and power off or whatever. And then you just press OK again to go back to the main screen. I'm not going to go through all of that because that's all on my cross-tour video. You can have a look at that. Exactly the same type of menu and setup system. Virtually exactly the same. So I'm not going to go through all of that this time. I will give you a quick look around though. It's a slightly different material. It's got this little crosshatch rubberized feel to it, which is nice. Nice big blue system button. System light there with an orange button. That flashes when it's actually recording. You got your up down. If you hold that, of course, the up, you get the Wi-Fi mode on and off. Your mode button and on off button. Your battery compartment, which unfortunately isn't the hinge type. It's quite hard to get into as well. You're quite tight. Then you've got your USB, HDMI port, SD card slot. And then finally, the most important bit, the bit that we're interested in today, we've got the microphone input. So one problem with this is, and I'll get to it in just a second, is that if you want to use that microphone input, it's quite easy if it's in its normal cradle. Now if I get the extras out of the box here, the cradle is here. So if you put that in there, you can still access the microphone out. But if you try to put it in to the waterproof case, of course you have no access to that port. So that's what we're going to concentrate on today, how we manage to plug a microphone into this and still keep it almost completely waterproof. Before we go into that though, I'll just switch this off to save the battery, and then we'll get the rest of the bits out of the box for you to see. So as I said, you've got the extra cradle there. You can screw various mounts into that or put it onto a tripod or so forth. You've got your second 1350 milliamp hour battery. It's nice to get a nice big battery with them, lasts longer. USB cord, body clip, so you can clip it onto a pocket, handlebar clip for a push bike, and then various quick mounts, sticky mounts, different angled mounts, and a spare back window. I did find out once why they give you a spare back window, but I've completely forgotten what the reason is now. But you get a spare back window anyway with them. And then there's some more bits in here tucked in the bottom. You've got various straps, which will be handy for putting the remote control onto. Another case full of straps. You've got your remote control battery, so that's the battery for that. And then you've got some wire ties, some more sticky pads, a nice little cloth there, and a little lanyard for securing it to make sure you don't lose it if it comes off the mount for any reason. And rather nicely, a little carrier bag to carry it in. So if you get off your motorbike to go into the cafe or whatever, you can take the camera off, slip it into the bag, put it in your pocket or whatever, and away you go. So that's all the bits you get with it. Now let's get on to actually setting it up so we can use it for motor vlogging on a motorbike. Now the problem with actually doing this is that the microphone for this is just behind the SD card and USB port. So if you actually want to use it without the waterproof case and you put it in there, the other problem you run across, apart from if it starts to rain, is that the wind noise on there just drowns out all the other sounds. You can't actually talk and get recorded off that, and if it's on the bike or outside the helmet, it wouldn't pick it up very well anyway. So having that extra port there for the lanyard, for the lavalier microphone, you can put the microphone inside the helmet. But as I said, the problem comes is if you're using it on the bike, especially in Wales and the UK, it does tend to rain a lot. So you need to have it in the waterproof case. By putting it in the waterproof case, of course, you get back to that problem. You've got no access to that port. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to mod this case in a nice way. I've seen some terrible mods where people cut out huge chunks and it looks awful, and it isn't waterproof anymore. But we're going to mod it in a way so that it still remains fairly waterproof. Not 30 meter, I would admit, but heavy rain, should be able to keep the water out, and you'll be able to use it on your motorbike or car or whatever, or just outdoors, running, push bike, and so on. We'll need that in there first of all, so I'm going to put that in there and clear this away, and then we'll get on to how we mod this. Now to do this mod we are going to need a few things. We're going to need a drill with a small drill bit, nice and sharp. We're going to need a Sharpie. We're going to need some glue. We're going to need a larger drill bit, and we're going to need a rubber washer. Now this one was a little bit narrower than the actual plug for the microphone, so I've had to just widen it a little, but I've actually widened it a little less than the actual size of the plug, so when the plug goes in there it'll squeeze through and form a tight seal, or fairly tight seal, as it goes through. So we'll put these out of the way a moment, and we'll take the Sharpie and we'll just mark exactly where that hole is. So now that's marked, get rid of the Sharpie, take the camera out. Seems like a sensible thing to do. And you can see the mark there. Now drilling through glass or plastic is always awkward because you end up cracking things or the drill slips all over the place. So just a little trick, if I just grab this little bit of tape and needle, put the needle through the middle of the tape, put the needle onto the little black mark, hope you can see it there, slide the tape down the needle, and then the tape should be exactly where the black mark is. So when we start drilling, the tape will stop, hopefully, the drill from slipping, and be able to get a nice hole in exactly the right place. So here goes nothing. It's a brand new bit, so hopefully not too fast, and don't press on it because we don't want to crack the case. And we drilled all the way through, and hopefully we've drilled through in just the right place. We find that out when we take the tape off. Spot on. Couldn't do better than that if I tried. So next thing we do is we change the drill bit over for the larger bit. This is where things could go drastically wrong. Let's put the larger bit in place. And again, nice slow speed, we don't want to rush things. we're trying to cut the hole without overdoing it and without cutting and cracking the case. So now we got the hole in the case. I'm just going to move the drill out of the way so I don't knock it over. Let's see how accurate we've been. If it's a little bit out, it doesn't matter, we can always cut a little bit more. But hopefully we'll be more or less in the right place. So it's just a little bit high, so we need to go down a touch. Don't worry about that too much because the washer is actually bigger than the hole, so it'll cover up any slight difference in size. Okay. Still a little high, needs to come down a little bit more. And we keep trying until we get in the right place. Just take off the burr. One more try should do it. So hopefully now it is just about right. Perfect. Now, as I said, not too worried about it being slightly out of place to begin with, because when we put the rubber washer on, as you can see, it'll cover up the slight extra bit of plastic that we've taken off. So the next thing we need to do is flatten this off a bit so that the washer actually sits more or less flush with that. So I'll just grab my little tool to do that with, and we'll do that bit, and then we'll attach the rubber washer. And now, as you can see, it sits on there almost flush. There's still a little bit more work to do. Just take it up a little bit higher and it'll be perfect. There we go. Sit in flush. So I'll clean this up now and we move on to the next stage, which will actually be sticking the rubber washer on so that we get that nice tight, almost waterproof seal on it, so we can use it outdoors. I'll give it a good clean off to get all the dust off it. Okay, now all the dust is off. There's a little burr in there, get rid of that. Make sure it's all clean, the lens is clean. I've still got the lens protector on there, so protected that. And I've also got the back protector on there still. Next thing we need to do then is put the camera back in the phone. Now we can leave that in there while we do the next part, because we need to see where that microphone socket is when we put the washer on top, so that we line it up just right. So a little bit of super glue. Try not to stick my fingers together. Not too much. And here's where I do stick my fingers together. Not a lot to grab hold of, so catch it by the edges. And then line it up. Rest it down. Make sure it's in the right place. And press down firmly. there we have it. So now we have not 100% waterproof seal, but it'll do for most rainstorms, I would imagine. There's not a lot to get through there. What you can do, and what I will do in a moment, is just put a little bit more glue around the outside edge, just to give it that little bit more waterproof in. Get rid of the burrs. And then we'll wait for it to dry. I'll give it 24 hours to make sure it's absolutely dry, and then I'll plug it in, and next video you'll see is me actually using it, and you'll see if it's any good as a vlogging camera on a motorcycle. For now though, thank you very much for watching. If you are new to Revs IT, do please hit the subscribe button and that bell icon to let you know when new content goes up. It's still a brand new channel. There's a lot more stuff to come in the future, and hopefully it'll be of use to some of you. I hope this video has been of use to you. Thanks again.